the Blue Jays are, again, one win away from a World Series championship. For the first time in most of this fan base's lifetime, the Blue Jays are on the cusp of a championship. All they have to do is get through the hottest pitcher in Major League Baseball. So, what do we expect? Game 6 tonight. Let's break it all down. If nothing else, the music in the intro just puts you in a good mood for tonight. It is going to be a very stressful, very anticipatory, very next 12 hours or so for Blue Jays fans and Dodgers fans and baseball fans alike, as the baseball season could conclude on Halloween for the first time and potentially could conclude in Canada for the second, as the Blue Jays look to wrap up a World Series title against the Los Angeles Dodgers. The Blue Jays certainly have got a lot of the headlines over the last 24, 48 hours following a decisive Game 5 win that was on the heels of a decisive Game 4 win after a not very decisive Game 3 loss. Oh no, Game 4 they lost. Anyway, you know where I'm going with. The Blue Jays, no, Game 4 they won. I'm all over the place. Sorry. I'm excited. I can't believe this is happening. And just for me personally, I haven't, I guess the way to put it, I haven't let myself think about what tonight could mean until I woke up today. Even like going into Game 6 and 7, I'm watching at home with my parents, and I'm just excited that I get to share that experience with them, the people who brought me into this Blue Jays world and instilled this passion in me 35 years ago, almost 36 years ago now, as I approach my birthday month, as some would say. But it was more just I was happy to be along for the ride and enjoying it. And even like after the only time I was like, oh, they're going to go to the World Series was after George Springer hit the home run. It's like, we're 6 outs away. Holy shit. And then there was a little bit of happy to be here because it's the Dodgers, you know? And while I do think the Blue Jays are a really good team, and it is hilarious that a team with the $255 million payroll would be David in a David versus Goliath situation, but it had that kind of a feel because the Blue Jays have really good players and the Dodgers have all-stars. And there was a concern there. And then Game 1, it's like, you know what? I'm glad we had that moment. Like, we're not going to get swept. We're not going to get blown out. This is great. Not that I've never had confidence, but I just, again, I couldn't let myself believe it. But then seeing Joe Carter's home run in highlights a lot over the last little bit, and seeing like some of those compilations on social media where it's, hey, this is the last out of the last 5 World Series. And you realize that for the first time in 3 decades, the Blue Jays have a reasonable chance that they will be included in those montages for forever now is mind-boggling to think about. The one who is putting a damper on all the party thoughts tonight is certainly Yoshinobu Yamamoto. As Toxic says in the Twitch chat, we're streaming this live on a few different platforms today. As Toxic says on the Twitch chat, I'm scared of Yamamoto tonight, man. Feels like there will be a Game 7. And then he goes on to say, I have the feeling we're down 2-1 in the series. That's how I feel. There's a bit of a feel that, like, this guy is just so inevitable. The last 2 games he's pitched, the bullpen has not been required. It is the first time in a really long time that anyone has done that. Now, one of the last times that happened was 1992 in Tom Glavine against the Toronto Blue Jays. And to steal the line from Dodgeball, and we all remember how that played out. Although most of us don't literally remember, but we do know. Otis Nixon, bunts, Timlin Fields, and all of that. Quick aside, I saw someone say, could you imagine 2025 Twitter if someone was the last out of the World Series on a drag bunt? Would be quite the thought. But this is a different animal than anyone else that the Blue Jays have faced in this series. And aside from a few pretty good relievers in that marathon Game 3, any pitcher that the Blue Jays have sent out there against, or any pitcher that the Dodgers have sent out there against the Blue Jays have handled very, very well. And that goes throughout basically the entirety of the postseason, right? Like Max Fried didn't matter. Carlos Rodon, see ya. Going into the Mariners series, where it's, again, a very, very good rotation. Maybe game one didn't go great against that kid that no one else had heard of. But like George Kirby, didn't matter. Luis Castillo, got him. Like, they have taken it to high-level pitchers every step of the way. And they've done that throughout the season as well. The Blue Jays had the best record, or at least the most wins, against teams over 500 this season. So this is, again, not a team that got fat and happy on bad teams. It's not a team that maybe had the benefit of the Colorado Rockies in their division all season long and got to play them a bunch of times and pad that record a little bit. This is a Blue Jays team that has played very good baseball teams all season long, and they've done so really, really well. And this is just another one that they have to deal with tonight in Yamamoto. It's just, he has done it better than anyone else has in the postseason so far. Crash on Twitch. This team is built on adversity, and they overcome everything put in front of them. Also, the biggest move in this World Series was Schneider sitting everyone during the 18-inning game. LA hasn't recovered from playing 4 games in 72 hours. Seeing a little bit of that, the crazy like a fox of Schneider getting the most out of everyone in those games. We went over it the other day. I think you can justify all the moves except for Barger. Springer was hurt. Like, you had no choice. Bichette is hurt, and pulling him for someone who can actually run, I think, made a lot of sense. And I will go to the grave believing that Alejandro Kirk was banged up in that game, and that's why they ended up taking him out. But it does, like, they have looked like the fresher team in the games since. Now we've had a couple of days removed, and the Dodgers should be fresh. So if nothing else, the excuses are gone for Los Angeles coming out of that one. But on the Yamamoto front, it would be very easy for me to sit here and say, oh, well, this is how the Blue Jays have to attack him. As, again, the guy who peaked as playing in provincial baseball in Saskatchewan is going to have an idea of how to hit the guy who is basically making a case for the best pitcher in baseball right now in Yamamoto. But Chris Black has a tweet. I wish I had set it up so I could pull it up here. And he's giving a hat tip, to Stephen LeBron, who is a producer and co-host of the Hello Welcome pod. But Yamamoto's usage in the last 2 complete games, he's thrown his splitter 31% of the time, fastballs 30% of the time, breaking balls 27%, and his cut fastball 92%. The velocity on those, by the way, splitter 91, which, if I could go, like, I'm getting the setup now so I can play some of the old video games on the Twitch stream, and one of them obviously being MVP Baseball 2005. If someone had a splitter of 91 on that game, I think it would just explode. So that's insane that he's rocking that. With a fastball that's 96, his breaking ball, mostly 77 miles an hour, but sometimes it reaches around 88 miles an hour, and then a cut fastball at 92. So the point of the tweet is that there isn't really a pattern that you can find. He will throw all of those pitches in all situations. He is very effective with basically all of them. Like, I don't think you could say they're all plus pitches, but I would put them all as above average at least. And I think obviously with the splitter being the most used, that splitter is a plus pitch for him. I would say he has a plus fastball as well. The slider can get into that territory, but I would say above average. I think for Toronto tonight, it is a focus on the fastball. And this team has been pretty good at that this year, but I think that if you get that fastball, you have to jump on it. The problem is when you are looking at these all, like a cut fastball is literally a fastball and then it just kind of dives. That can look like a fastball. His slider can as well. Everything comes out of the same arm slot. Everything has kind of the same look to it, and then it just dives off of the face of the earth at times. So picking up what the fastball is an entirely different story. And the thing that the Blue Jays struggled with in game 1, where they haven't against anybody else, is getting to the Dodgers bullpen and making him work. I get Snell made it, to the 7th inning of the game the other day, but Toronto, for the most part, has done a very good job of getting these pitchers out early. And I said before, you have to get Yamamoto out, I think, before the 7th. Because I feel like the way the Dodgers are going to attack these next 2 games, if it plays out perfectly in their mind, is Tonight, Yamamoto 7, we'll say 6 or 7, and I think Sasaki is available for 3 tonight. Would be my guess, and I would. If it goes a little bit longer and it's a little bit of a desperate situation, I could see him being available for 4. Like I think they would want to go Yamamoto, Sasaki, and that's it. Not mess with Trinan, not mess with Banda, not mess with any of those other guys. Just Yamamoto and Sasaki. I think that is going to be the situation that the Dodgers are looking for. And then for Game 7, you hope that Sasaki, with the joys of youth, can come back for maybe an inning. But they're probably going to split Glasnow and Ohtani and hope that they can kind of get 4 and 4 out of those guys, or 5 and 4, or something along those lines, and try to work it that way. So I think in a perfect world, and it is set up where they could, the Dodgers have to use one relief pitcher the rest of the way. Now, the 2 guys we bring up in Game 7, Toronto got to both of them, right? Vladdy rather famously did well against Shohei Ohtani, and a lot of guys ate against Tyler Glasnow. And again, I've said it before, the Blue Jays are a tough matchup for him, but because they can kind of mess around with a couple platoon things, it might make things a little bit challenging for Toronto. So the key for the Blue Jays today is try to get Yamamoto out of there before like the 6th or 7th inning, because it is set up pretty well for the Dodgers to not have to use any of the guys that they don't want to, if he can go a little bit further. And obviously the guy's gone back-to-back complete games. There's a world where he goes 9, and then you can go Glasnow, Ohtani, Sasaki in Game 7, and oh boy, that's a lot to deal with. So this is, it is, I'm sounding very doom and gloom right now about the Blue Jays, but this is a realistic possibility where they are at. So I think that fastball has to be the pitch that the Blue Jays attack. You're not going to get a lot off of that splitter. It is just, it's too good with too much movement. That cut fastball, he's been locating it really well, and the slider can be lethal. So hoping he makes a mistake like the one that Ohtani made to Vlad in his first at bat, or in his second at bat against him, that you can't rely on that. It is going to have to be you find your pitch and you hit the hell out of that one. The Rogers Center is going to be insane tonight. It's going to be rocking. I can't wait to see what that place is like and what that atmosphere is going to be. I think that the Blue Jays have shown that this is an elite level atmosphere, and that's gonna be nuts tonight. They're doing the watch party at Scotiabank Place, where the Raptors and the Leafs play. I kind of wish they did Jurassic Park tonight, and I hope they still do, because apparently the place sold out, and now their scalper's selling them for like $300 on there because people are the worst. But I want there to be those shots of people going crazy. I've said before, when everyone was talking about how Ohtani not going to the Blue Jays was better for baseball and everything like that, and even this World Series where oh wow, that would be, boy, Major League Baseball, they're not going to like that the Blue Jays are here. I like that there have been a lot of posts about how the Blue Jays being in here, this is one of the most watched World Series. This is the most watched World Series since 2016. And every game ends up being the most watched game since Game 7 when Cleveland played the Cubs in that classic World Series that they had. So I like that the Blue Jays are kind of flexing that muscle a little bit, and that Canada is. I saw the tweet today that there have been just about as many people watch this World Series as voted in the last Canadian election, which is insane to think about. But I want more of it. I want more shots of how passionate this fan base is. I want more shots of how insane people are watching outside on Halloween night in Toronto and getting that kind of an atmosphere. I want all of those shots tonight, showing it off and showing everything off for to Toronto. Crash Andrews, they're opening Scotiabank as well for the viewing. Yeah, I saw that. That's really cool. I love that they are doing that. How do you think Springer is going to do tonight? I'm done doubting that guy. Like, we are going to get the hockey player thing from Springer at the end of this, where it's, oh yeah, he was playing with this, that, or the other thing. Like, I think that guy is being held together by maple syrup and silly string right now. That knee, like, just has to be screaming in agony every day. And the wrist, the way that hit, like, that looks bad. But every step of the way, he has come up with big hits. He has the second biggest home run in Blue Jays history. He is going to be so amped up for this moment. So I think Springer does well in this game. I think he's going to have a big day. I think this is going to be, I think, a Vlad Guerrero Jr. day. I think he steps up in a really kind of big time way for the Blue Jays. I also, I not to go Dan Plesac, I feel like Barger could have a moment here. Just the way he has that aggressive uppercut swing against, and I haven't looked at the baseball savant stuff, and honestly, I don't know if I'm smart enough to figure out swing plane plus this pitch equals kaboom, but it feels like because he has that exaggerated uppercut swing, that the splitter that is kind of diving down, that's not going to affect as much, and he can still hit the bejesus out of it. So I think those guys are going to play a big role in this one tonight. I also, I'm interested to see Kevin Gausman. He's kind of forgotten about in this whole thing. He was dominant in game 2. It's just Yamamoto had an all-time great performance. Not the best pitching performance of the series, but an all-time great performance. So I think he is going to be massive for the Blue Jays here in breaking news. The starting pitcher is going to be important for Toronto. I'm interested to see how the Blue Jays manage this game, because one of the criticisms of the Mariners in game 6 against Toronto is that they managed that game like it was a game 7. There was also, they were down by 4, and why are you bringing your closers in and stuff like that in that spot. But I'll be interested to see if the Jays are down by 2. Is it still Varland, Dominguez, Hoffman, those guys? Or do you just kind of ask Bassett or Lauer to eat a bunch of innings and keep everyone ready for game 7? Like, what is kind of the cutoff for everything? If you're winning by anything, if the Jays are up by 32 runs going into the 9th inning, I still want Hoffman coming in to try to shut the door. I still play that as if it is a 1-run ball game, to just try to close that out. I've always believed that in a closing game. That if you have the chance to win the series, no matter what you are up by, you treat it like you are up by 1 and try to just absolutely shut it down. So very interested to see how this is going to play out. Toxic, I did see your question earlier, and I was going to get to it. I know the ADD can sometimes fly me around some of these in the chat, but I did see it. I don't know if you saw my question earlier, but where is PK going to be watching the game tonight? I'll probably just watch the game and have some drinks. I'm going to be watching at home. I have to listen to the first part of the game on the radio. Sorry, I don't have to. I get to. Shout out my radio brethren. I get to listen to the first part of the game on the radio tonight. I, a while ago, was assigned a play-by-play for a hockey game. Because I'm very organized in this freelance life, didn't realize that game was in Cochrane. And now, when I was assigned it, it was September, and I wasn't thinking, oh, that could be Game 6 of the World Series. So the game's at 3:45. I'm going to petition that we just straight time. Let's just run time this thing tonight. Because let's get through it. And I honestly, there was a later game that got rescheduled, and then I just couldn't do it the next day. But I'm probably going to be getting out of that rink around first pitch time, and then everyone on Highway 1A, Crowchild, down to, I'll probably take Memorial into downtown. So if I'm letting you all now, get the fuck out of my way, because I am going to be driving like Max Verstappen on there trying to get home in time. So not in time. I'm going to be able to watch a lot of this game, but trying to get home to watch a lot of this baseball game. So just be prepared for that, citizens of Calgary, as I race my way through the streets tonight to get home, doing a game out in Cochrane. We have Nemo Peak in the chat. I believe first time for Nemo Peak. That is not one. Yeah, first time chatter. So welcome, Nemo. Thank you for popping in today. I greatly appreciate that. What are we talking about? Blue Jays are taking the W tonight. I'm gonna predict. I'm gonna say Blue Jays take this one tonight, because I hope that is the case. Crash saying, I have to work retail tonight. Halloween game 6, gonna be dead. I'm dressing full baseball Blue Jays player. Love that. Absolutely love that. I thought about doing that last night. I just don't have pants that work for it. And I like baseball pants. As someone who played baseball my whole life, baseball pants aren't the most flattering for you, boy. So squeezing 260 into baseball pants. There's some kind of a sausage making joke there somewhere, so we don't need to create that visual for anyone. But yeah, it's gonna be, oh man, it's gonna be so much fun tonight. Nemo saying, looks like you can do some inventory and watch the game. That is very fair. Yeah. There's gonna be a lot of, oh man, have we? Boy, I don't think that the cash register has been wiped down with Windex in a while. I'm just gonna go disinfect this for 2.5 hours, if you don't mind. Yeah, that's gonna be great. Trying to decide if I go old school Jays Big Cat jersey or current style Kirk. It is a thing that I think about too often and put way too much thought into, is the jersey wear. I'm going with the baby blue, the Vlad that I have. They've at least won more than they've lost when I've worn this. I don't think they're undefeated, but because I think I wore it for Game 3 of the Yankee series. But aside from that, I think that's the only L the Jays have taken when I've worn this thing so far. So going with this one tonight. But I for game number, what was the game number 5? I had the one that I bought when I lived in Toronto, the like old school, not old school, but like the last era, the pointy bird. I don't even know which player to describe as that vintage, like the late stage Roy Halladay, early stage Jose Bautista jersey. Love that. Frank Catalanato. Oh yeah, dude. I mean, yeah. Love those. Absolutely love those. Vernon Wells. The Vernon Wells era jersey. That's what I was saying. And I was like, I'm gonna wear this one tonight because this jersey's been with me the longest and it deserves to have a bit of a say in this World Series. It deserves to be a part of this World Series run. So that is the level that my brain goes to with jersey wear for this one tonight. But I don't know what I'm gonna do. Game 7, gonna have I got the 92 style Dave Winfield jersey again when I lived in Toronto. Again, a little snug on you, boy, but that's probably going to be the Game 7 wear. But we're going with the big gun tonight, hoping to put this one away in 6. I have the Frank Catalanato and hat to match. I have the World Series hat from this year. That is very tricky. I think you go the old school one for tonight, and then hopefully tomorrow you can wear that one in celebration. I have been trying to find the World Series patch hats. I want the white panel one, although the one that goes with this would be good. I will take them both, honestly, but as a 7.5 to 7 5/8 guy, haven't been able to find it so far. So hopefully that luck changes here a little bit. Although again, as someone who has a November birthday and then Christmas coming up, the Christmas list is just any Blue Jays World Series thing you can find. Send it to me. I may also have some Grey Cup things, hopefully, with the Saskatchewan Roughriders on the way. But we'll see about that as we go along. I'm 7 5/8 is where the hat size is right now. But don't put too much into it, Crash. I do appreciate it, but I have a feeling that there are going to be some available, hopefully. So I'm not stressing too much about it right now. But I do appreciate you looking out on that for sure. Nemo Peak saying, what are your thoughts on MVP regardless of outcome tonight? I would say right now the leader in the clubhouse is probably Vlad Guerrero Jr. Because of the just a couple of big moments, gets what ends up being the game-winning home run in game number 5. I do think that tonight a lot of the narratives could play into it. Like if Alejandro Kirk has a 2-home run game, I think that there's going to be a lot of, hey, this guy's been really good all series long. He should probably get it. I think there's going to be some of that. I think there's going to be I think the one that could really sway it the most for the Blue Jays is if Trey Savage comes in bullpen duty, either tonight or tomorrow. If he comes in and is effective even a little bit, then I think he probably gets a lot of the votes as well. But my guess would be right now, Vladdy. I think if Toronto wins tonight, but Ohtani has another big game, Ohtani could get it even in a losing effort. He is so far and away the leader on the Dodgers side. Yamamoto could come close if he has another big game in this one, and then the Dodgers go on to win in game 7. But I think Vladdy would be the pick for me right now. I do appreciate it, Crash. Well, we'll talk off air. Toxic. You don't want Stampeders gear. I don't know why I would have Stampeders out in the West Final gear, but no, I think I'm probably okay on that one. Nemo Peak. I agree. As a Jays fan, it has been unbelievable how many guys are stepping up. Shohei is unreal too. That's the thing. Like there are times like I grew up just despising the Braves and the Phillies. Oakland to a certain extent too, because of how much they pushed the Blue Jays at that time. And the World Series is that we all went through, not all of us, but the World Series that they went through and hearing all about it and everything like that. I can't hate this Dodgers team. Like, I know that there is obviously some fan vitriol and stuff like that, but like Shohei, I went to Japan at the start of the baseball season, seeing everything everywhere, and knowing that it could have been a Blue Jay with all of that really bugged me. But you watch him, it's like, I can't hate this guy. This is the coolest thing I've ever seen on a baseball field in my entire life. I just can't. That is, like, you see some of those social media posts where maturing is, and then da-da-da-da-da. For me, maturing has been not hating greatness as a sports fan, because like there a long time I hated Tom Brady. I'm a Raider fan, so the Tuck rule thing and all of that, but it flipped for me in the 28-3 game against the Atlanta Falcons, where it was like, man, I don't know why I'm hate watching this, because this is something I don't know. I don't know if grandkids are going to be in the fold, but this is the thing I'm going to tell my sister's grandkids. About it, Tom Brady doing all of that, or Crash in the chat, a Colts fan, Peyton Manning as well. Everyone's allowed to hate who they hate. That sports hate anyway. That's fair. But I was just like, I have to enjoy this. LeBron against the Raptors. You can see behind me the Kawhi picture, and obviously that helped a lot to get over a lot of those things. But there was a time where the LeBron thing was ugh, and then you watch it and it's like, man, this is a one of one. I'm not going to hate on this thing. And so I've kind of stopped hating on guys who are the best and just enjoying that this is a thing that's happening in my lifetime. We did the thing the other day. I haven't posted the video yet, but on Victor Wembanyama and talking about like what a wild time this is in sports right now. So I'm just enjoying the greatness that is some of these guys. But like Mookie is one of the most likable players in baseball history, and if he's not, Freddie Freeman is. And then some of the great story, like Teoscar Hernandez. I'll never hate Teoscar Hernandez. They have like Max Muncy goes from being like just a castaway cut to a guy who is hitting absolute nukes to win playoff games. Yamamoto is just dominant. I mean, Blake Snell can kind of eat it for some of the stuff he said the other day, but a lot of these guys, like Dave Roberts had the most famous stolen base ever to help vanquish evil with the Yankees. So no, I don't hate the Dodgers at all. That there isn't down with those guys. That there are like most teams I would cheer for the Dodgers over that team. It's been back-to-back series, because if it was the Mariners against anyone else but the Blue Jays, I would have been cheering for the Mariners. I got a Griffey jersey in the back. They've always had a bit of a soft spot in my heart. And look, I'm wearing a Cannons hat. The Cannons were the minor league affiliate for those guys. So the Blue Jays have had to go through some remarkably likable teams to get to this point. I'll take it. But yeah, I find myself not sports hating these guys in the same way. And it was kind of the same way in 19, obviously, honestly, with the Raptors. How can you hate Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors? You know, like even Draymond stuff. It's like, oh, it's Draymond. Look at him being so fun. How can you hate that? It's just fun that my team is hanging out with these guys and beating them as well. And we'll see if they can continue that in game number 7. Let's see some of these here. Co-MVP if the Jays win, Vlad Yasavage. I think it'll probably be Vlad. And I think that there will be a lot of, hey, but also remember Yasavage did this thing. But if he comes in and does anything at all, like if he is like comes into a jam in the 7th and gets a couple outs and the Blue Jays go on to win, I could see him getting the final vote there. So I don't know if they'll do a co-MVP thing, but I do think it'll be really, really close. Crash again, can't hate a team who employs Freddie Freeman. 100%. Can't do it. I just can't. It's too much fun to have that guy on there. And you see like all the mic'd up moments with him, like the one on ESPN where there's the bloop into the outfield and he's like, watch this, boys. There's a wind, boys. And he's just running around the bases. All-time comedy. The guy's just so much fun, incredibly likable. So no, I can't hate the Dodgers. Also, the Dodgers not bad for baseball. The Tigers trading Tarek Skubal would be bad for baseball, unless it's to the Blue Jays. That'd be great. Colts winning the Super Bowl. I think that from Nemo. We'll get to the football talk here in a second. But I mean, look, they got a shot at it anyway. And LeBronto, that was a thing forever. Yes, no, I remember. That was the first time ever in the history of sports. We're going way off on the baseball stuff now. I'm gonna have to go through and edit some of this for the YouTube video after. But that was the first time I remember ever where a team tied the series 2-2 and no one took it seriously. Like the Raptors came back and tied a series at 2 in, I think it was the East Final. It was either that one was the East Final. No, I think the East Final, they kind of blew through them. But it was the East Semis that the next year. And everyone was like, LeBron took a couple games off. And then he hits that running shot with OG right in his face. It's like, oh yeah, no, this guy, there's nothing the Raptors can do about this. And then he left, and the Raptors were able to take advantage, and that was really great of him to do that. Although I do still think that Raptor team with Kawhi was built to sustain anything against a LeBron team as well, but that's another story for another day. So, official prediction for tonight, I have to go Blue Jays. They are, I get momentum hasn't really played into any of this. If momentum was a real thing, then the Blue Jays would have lost it after Game 3, and we wouldn't be talking about baseball right now. Well, we would be, but just in more hushed tones. But like the Blue Jays are just on this next level roll that you just don't see really fall off into a Game 6 or 7. So I think Toronto gets it done. I think it's stressful. I don't know if it is Game 7 of the ALCS where the Jays need a home run late to come back and win it. But I think it's going to be like a 2-1, 3-1 game the whole way. And I think there's going to be, a big moment because it's the World Series. But I think there's going to be a small moment that leads to a run that's just kind of that's annoying. And then it just kind of hangs there for a while. You know, like it's going to be like the other night where the ball gets away from Will Smith and a run scores and it's 4-1. It's going to be that, but that'll tie the game at 1. And it'll kind of hang with it for a little bit. And then a big moment comes later on in the ball game. But I say Blue Jays win the World Series in 6. Let me know your thoughts, whether you're watching live, put it in the chat or in the comments after. Having a lot of fun talking Blue Jays and a lot of random things with y'all today. This has been a blast so far. Make sure you share the video and let's get more people going into the chat. Like I said, I am really, really trying to grow this thing here. I am really proud of the content we've put out over, I say we, it's me. But you know what? It's you guys as well. Like some of the segments you guys asked me about have ended up being some of the most popular. So I'm really proud of everything that we've done here, but I do need it to grow. And part of that, a lot of that is just on me. I'm bad at sharing this shit. But a lot of that you guys could help out with if you could just hit that share button, share it with the people that you know, get in on some of this great Blue Jays talk, because it's been a whole lot of fun having this Blue Jays community going over the last little while. Crash, whoever leads after the 3rd inning takes it, unless the Jays get one of those 4, 5, 6 inning, one of those innings in 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I think that's fair. Like, I think a big start tonight for Toronto is going to be key. I don't think the Dodgers are going to be able to take that crowd out of it, but I think Toronto could really overwhelm this Dodgers team with that crowd if they can get going early on. So just another back-to-back home runs to lead off a ball game would be perfect. That's all you need to do. Although that only took 3 pitches, so didn't exactly work the pitch count thing. But I think they did all right anyway. And Nemo Peak saying Blue Jays in a nail biter. Think the final score will be within a few runs. Yeah, I don't think this is going to be 11-4 or anything like that. I think it's going to be snug most of the way.